Who do we have, Logan? Line us up with the quarterback prospects.
There was a pretty interesting last couple of days. A big one, Nicco Marchiol. Hopefully I'm not screwing that up. Marchiol visited, I guess you can say visited with all COVID-19 going on, but visited the campus just recently. And he's kind of made up his decision. Before visiting Florida State, he stopped by Gainesville and Florida's campus too, just a little bit before that. So he seems like he's made up his mind. He put down in his tweet after visiting, he enjoyed every bit of it, and that there is now just one last thing to do. So there's a lot of optimism that Florida State is going to land this guy. I know a couple other outlets have predicted Florida State to land him. He's a 4-star, but there's kind of a competition here between another guy to MJ Morris. Some people like him more. Some people like Nicco more. Maybe they like Nicco more because of the hair. They can kind of relate him to Trevor Lawrence. But there's never, I think, a bad place to be if you're arguing and trying to figure out which 4-star you want over another one. I think Florida State's in a good spot with both of them. They just got to get MJ Morris over to Tallahassee for a visit. But it's trending in the right way and direction for Nicco to be a Seminole once he makes his announcement here soon.
And we've talked about it before over the past couple of weeks with Norvell's strategy. Norvell has basically, I don't want to say ignored the state of Florida, but it's looking like the state of Florida is going to be second fiddle to recruiting other areas he knows. And that's not a knock against Mike Norvell. He knows Arizona from his time coaching at Arizona State. He knows Tennessee. He knows Alabama. He knows Arkansas from his time coaching in Memphis. So he's recruiting where he knows right now. If you're saying, gun to my head, which one of the two I'd rather have, I'd rather take Nicco at this point. I'd rather bring him in. Other than the luscious locks, I think he is somebody who can come in and kind of fit the offense that Norvell and Dillingham and the offense that they're trying to run right now. That being said, I'd like him to also focus on recruiting. I'm not just saying South Florida. I'd like him to go over to James' area in Jacksonville, go over to Orlando, Tampa. There's plenty of great recruits that are getting ignored here in the state of Florida that I just, and James, maybe you could touch a little bit more on this. I just don't get why we are ignoring recruiting in the state of Florida, seemingly ignoring recruiting in the state of Florida.
I still don't know. About a month, was it a month ago? My radio partner caught the ire. He's catching the ire of every fan base in this Jacksonville area. The Georgia Bulldogs. He's a Gator fan. He's caught the ire of Gator fans, Hurricane fans. But then he gives them a kid, and then everybody turns around on him. But when he saw a lot of the offers go out, he made a statement on Twitter, like, I don't understand why you guys are going outside the state of Florida when some of the most talented quarterbacks in the Southeast train. Not from his opinion of saying, hey, my son is great or something like that. No. Other people have actually offered. Other top schools have offered their guys. So I know Kenny Dillingham reached out. That relationship is solid, as well as with Mike Norvell. So I know they can get that. But I also think it's just a relationship in the board. I like Nicco. I like his release. Completely different from Purdy. I've told you guys, if you follow me, Purdy could probably be a solid player, contributor by the time he's a redshirt junior. But as of right now, I don't like him to see the field. He's better than Rodemaker, but he's not better than this young man, Nicco. MJ Morris's throwing motion is a little bit just slightly quicker than Purdy's to me. So that's why I would take Nicco before that. But there's a kid down that was originally from Savannah, but that's down in Melbourne, Florida, Devin Widener, who's a really, really good quarterback, very cocky, and that's what I like. Not cocky as in an arrogant form, but confident in his abilities and not afraid of anybody. And is an ultimate competitor. I believe he's going to be playing for the 707 team out of the Jacksonville area, Pro Impact Sports, which goes and has won numerous 707 national titles. So he's a really guy. He's some really good cats that I think they'll fall into. I know they'll take two. I believe he won't make the same mistake as he made his first year, where you're going to take two, and you're going to take the best two, regardless of what the situation is. And I think you would have seen us have a better overall quarterback situation here. And he can't strike out again, because no matter what people want to say, you signed 2 high school quarterbacks your first class, and neither one of them are going to play. You didn't sign. Right now, it's looking like you won't sign any for 21. So you got to make sure you hit this guy, whoever the kid is in 2022, has to be somebody who's ready to come in, and if not compete right away, they're ready to compete their redshirt freshman year. So that's going to be important.
And I guess my question to both James and Logan, we've talked about this, a couple of weeks ago. If Florida State does get Nicco or does get the other kid to come in, can you see either Tate or Purdy transferring out? And if so, which one do you think one is most likely to transfer out first?
Go ahead, James.
I think they'll push if they sign 2 with put it like this, there are 4 quarterbacks in that room right now. 1 will graduate, 2 of those guys will move on. And Jordan Travis has 2 more years, so I don't think it'll be Jordan Travis.
So you think both Tate and Chuba leave?
I think Chuba can have a better opportunity. If he doesn't get it, he actually has an opportunity where he can play. He has some wherewithal in football IQ. I think Tate's going to have to realize the writing on the wall and probably bump down a level.
Yeah, it's hard. That quarterback room goes from thin at the first when Norvell arrived to holy crap, we are stacked everywhere. I really think it comes down to between Tate Rodemaker and really if Chuba Purdy is getting signs from another university. I mean, all right now is you have Mackenzie Milton. That's just for a year. He'll play, but who's going to be the future? I still think, Jordan Travis is going to be playing quite a bit this upcoming season, or I think he would have been gone. So I think we're going to see some Jordan Travis and Mackenzie Milton combo, but it's an interesting situation. Who's going to be who will leave? Someone will be leaving. Definitely. Even you're bringing in Nicco. Definitely, if you're bringing in MJ Morris, then it's the competition will be fantastic to watch. And it'll be great for the team. But someone will be leaving. And right now, I don't know when you'd see Tate Rodemaker step up and be a starting quarterback. Starting quarterback from what we saw last year. He just wasn't ready whatsoever for that freshman mark. It was funny, though, if you think about it, if we go back in the game where Jordan Travis played a very well one and had to sub in, Tate Rodemaker was above Jordan Travis in that starting lineup, which was pretty interesting to watch. And then Jordan Travis has a fantastic game. We're actually able to see that he can throw the ball deep. And boom, Jordan Travis ends up being your starting quarterback practically for the rest of the season. So, I don't know. It's an interesting thing to keep on talking about during the offseason.
I think
that there alone is the only reason why I always tell people, when people make these comments like you can't be critical or can't question coaches, Tate Rodemaker was in front of Jordan Travis at one point. Like that alone said that, okay, until proven otherwise, it doesn't mean you have to not like him or things like that. But until proven otherwise, I get the question because you guys saw them and you had all the books and materials in front of you, and that was the decision that you thought was the best.
I think Chuba has more of an appeal, can probably get more schools to look at him if he decides he wants to transfer, but I can see Tate transferring out. I can see Tate transferring to a Georgia Southern if he wants to go down to like a Valdosta State or go, over to like a South Alabama or something like that. I can see him moving quicker because I feel like as soon as he threw that pick 6 against Jacksonville State, you could tell he was just, all right, I'm done. And it's nothing against him. He's a good guy, great kid, good athlete. I just don't think he has a place right now, especially if Florida State is able to bring in more quarterbacks in the class of 2022.
And he comes in to an interesting situation right off the bat when he was getting recruited because Mike Norvell was just fighting to get some depth there at quarterback or anybody and maybe a little bit of the future. But the future was always going to be Luke Altmaier. Norvell was trying to just fill in some talent, some little bit of talent, someone to just fit some depth needs. You're hoping that James Blackman was going to be able to work the offense until Luke Altmaier came. That didn't end up happening. You have Jordan Travis, who ends up emerging as a kind of surprise guy that can toss the ball, but ends up making your offensive line work a little bit better. And then he's able to also run the ball until the defenses were able to contain him and figure out how that offense was being ran. So You know, Mackenzie Milton right now will be, I believe, that starter for next year, but there is going to be some guys that are going to contemplate leaving, and I think it's going to end up being either universities talking to or hearing some things for Purdy and Roadmaker.
Mark, are you only finding comments that have to do with chicken? Literally, as you guys have been talking, I've been reading all your comments. You've been finding all the chicken comments.
I have taken all the comments in chronological order. I have aired every comment. I'm not even thinking about them. They're all going to the screen. They are all going to the screen.
EJ Rod, apparently we live rent-free in his mind because he's doing nothing but attacking us, saying none of us can afford our chicken. I mean, I have a pretty damn good paying job, so I can afford it. I know James can. I don't think Logan can, but
you know what I've learned, I can't. I'm broke, baby. Please.
I'm unemployed.
What's the thing? What's the thing
money.
called? I need you to hit the super chat, please, so that I can. Please, sir, could you hit the super chat so I can spare a chicken sandwich? Something like that.
I went from working multiple jobs to be able to afford to go to Florida State to spending $8 just to make fun of Logan. That's where
that is true, and I love it. I love that kind of energy. That's better energy, more entertaining energy.
You lived rent-free in my mind tonight, Logan.
I know that. And EJ Rod, I'm just saying real quick, EJ Rod also put in here that he, on a serious note, he misses college football already. NFL is so boring, even in the playoffs. I don't know about that. I will say I thought the NFL did a fantastic job this year, and it was extremely entertaining. I know there's a lot of love for college football. I will say college football is not the same without having fans there. It was very it was kind of bleak to me this year, I'll be honest. It was very bleak. The national championship was bleak. College football is way better with fans. NFL won this year, in my opinion.
As a guy who absolutely hated the NFL, even when he covered it, probably up until a couple of years ago, probably till the Jaguars made their run, I've always loved college more. Like the only reason I would buy Madden was because NCAA would let you put draft classes from NCAA on the Madden, so I kind of just felt like I had vested interest in these college guys going in there. Even now, my son plays Madden. I haven't played a video game since I took the $5,000 from the Ed O'Bannon settlement, and I guess technically ruined video games. But I haven't played any. I don't play games like that since NCAA is gone. But if you don't think that this NFL season was one of the better, more entertaining NFL seasons as opposed to that, the sloppiness of what college football was, with some of the better teams that we know have better talent, like in your Penn States of the world, your Michigans, I'm going to put us in there. I'm going to start using the excuse of COVID, even though Ian Book came on my radio show and completely obliterated any. Did you realize the season was 22 weeks for him? 22 weeks. There's 53. Was it 52 or 53 in a year?
52.
What that means is perhaps 6 months. 6 months college students were on campus. Anybody who says it was COVID and blames all the other stuff, you're just looking for an excuse. Our team sucked. But my point is that it was sloppy. NFL was way more crisp because they don't have the rules that the NCAA has. And in last weekend's playoff game, the Bills versus the Chiefs, how they were going at each other and just the different motions. For Christ's sake, somebody hire Eric Bieniemy. Forget that he's a black coach and he deserves it, just so that the Chiefs, so there can be more parity. That offense cannot continue to exist in the way it does because it only gets better every year. And to see Tom Brady, half of his NFL season are going to have ended in the Super Bowl. That's just, even though he didn't win it, that's just excellence. That's Alabama. So you got Alabama in a spread offense that actually is sexy and works on a power level. With the old changing of the guard, the best quarterbacks in the NFC all played each other in the last two playoff games, and all the best quarterbacks in the AFC are all young. So it's like you're seeing what old man football, and you're seeing what the future is like, and it's amazing.
Sorry, James was talking about Tom Brady, and I threw up a little bit in my mouth. I apologize there. I can't.
Brady.
I was not rooting for Tom Brady either on Sunday, but I can't deny the excellence. I cannot. I don't think he is the greatest quarterback of all time, but he is definitely the most accomplished. Therefore, in the eyes of most, he's the greatest, and I can't argue with that. Can't argue with the accomplishments. The winning is unprecedented. It's so far beyond anybody else at his position in the history of the league that it can't be argued. Since we were talking about the quarterback prospects and I put in the work, I'm going to get the metrics in before we move on to another topic here. We got Nicco out of Chandler, Arizona, the 2022 class, 9th rated pro style prospect at quarterback. He is the 2nd rated player in Arizona, and he's a top 200 player in the nation. Now, MJ Morris, Carroll, Georgia, Pace Academy, 3rd rated dual threat quarterback, 7th rated player in Georgia, which says a ton. And he's at number 57 according to 247 Sports, number 73 according to the composite. So he is way up there, highly thought of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're both talented, most certainly. And it really, I think, is going to depend on getting MJ Morris on campus for FSU, really. Dustin, our guy, had an interview with him a couple of days ago, and he wasn't telling any kind of crazy things, you know, Florida State, where they at, blah, blah, blah. But he did mention that he would really like to get on campus. That really plays a big factor for his recruitment and their relationship at FSU. So there, like I said, you know, there's a lot of arguing going back in Twitter and inside Discords and whatever you use in message boards about between Nicco and MJ Morris. But both guys are talented. They're both 4 stars. They're highly regarded on whatever kind of recruiting site you're on. So Florida State's in a good place to be in. You know, you're not arguing over some cats that aren't talented. And there's even more, like James talked about, there's more out there that if Florida State is able to get interest and create a relationship, you know, the future is bright in the QB department, I think.
Yeah, that's like saying I'm Team Nicco, Team Morris. I'm team. Give me both of them.
Give me both. Give me both.
I'm team. Damn it! I want 25 players. Like if you really want to flip the roster, if you really want to kind of build a tradition, do you think this happens at really, really good programs? No, they get they're going to get. They believe they're going to get the best guys anyway. So my number one priority in everything that I'm thinking, and I got this from my friend who's in recruiting, who builds recruiting boards for one of our rivals. Well, they no longer use us in the name, but they use these names, and so I'm gonna reverse it. Can that person beat Florida? Can that person help us beat Clemson? Can that person help us beat Miami? Can that person help us beat Notre Dame? If I can't check a box for at least 3 out of the 4 of them, I don't want them. And I think Morris and Nicco can both do that. If I can get both, man, I'm going to eat a big slice of cake. If I can get one, I'm going to still have some cake. But I don't need to pick and choose. I just need one. At this point, you got to look at it like this, because a lot of y'all truly and firmly believe that people read these messages, and this is what affects recruits. I know you're dumb and you believe that much of yourself. Then don't create toxicity for no reason. Just say, if somebody offers you a big piece of chocolate cake and a big piece of red velvet cake, just say, baby, I want cake. I'm happy to have cake. Or chicken. If somebody offers you a Popeye's chicken, or somebody offers you chicken, just joking. The bottom line is just be happy.
No. First of all, you always take the red velvet over the chocolate. Second of all, you always take the red velvet over chocolate every day. All day, every day. Red velvet over chocolate cake. All day, every day.